Coach, we've talked about the lack of size, but from an intensity standpoint, being locked in, effort, all of that, what do you see from your guys in the second half?
They'll still need a little more. I think we're last in the league in 50-50 balls, contested shots, hustle plays. We've just got to find a way to play harder, dig deeper. We're not a defensive roster. We have to take more pride in it, and we have to win more 50-50s, contest more shots, fight, scrap, claw. And that's what I think is missing as much as anything schematic that we're breaking down.
You can expound on this, but is that your biggest takeaway from these last two games? And if not, what is the big takeaway from these games with the Cavs?
Yeah. I mean, you could talk about that we're not a defensive team or we made too many errors schematically. But, I think the bigger message is that, showing up to the gym is not good enough. Like we're playing people that I think are excited to play and compete against our team, and they're going to bring it every night, and we have to match that. So that would be my main overriding thought on these two games.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Steve, how concerning is it when you consider this is the same team that you just saw them 2 days ago. So you would think, considering the way that game went, and this was a topic then as well, that your guys would be fully engaged and Cleveland would have your full attention. I mean, how concerning is it then to see that kind of effort level and physicality level?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overreact. But it is something that we have to continue to chip away at. We have to build that resolve, that hunger, that desire to win some hustle battles, to win the turnover margin, the rebounding margin, win in other ways. We got a lot of things to work on. There's a lot to clean up. It's very early. Like I said, it's relatively new. Having Kai back after 2 weeks, James joining the team, Kevin sitting out tonight. It's a lot thrown at us. So, I don't want to overreact, but we are going to urge the guys to clean up as much as we can the hustle areas, but also schematically just continue to refine and get better. And you know how this league is. A few days ago, we were on a 4-game winning streak, and now we underperformed in 2 games. So we got to find a way to get ourselves, playing a little cleaner, a little sharper, and trying to clean up some of these categories that we're not competing well enough in.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, in the first half, I think you guys just had 2 turnovers. You were really clean with it. And then in the third quarter, just that kind of all came unraveling. Just what do you think changed with that?
I don't know. You could say carelessness, or you could say familiarity. We haven't played together. It's the second game. But, you want to protect them in a sense and say, like, hey, it's early. And at the same time, you expect them to perform. So I don't want to give them an out, but I also don't want to overreact on the night and realize that this is going to be a season where, it's going to be funky. It's not going to be your normal growth and progression where, I think we've played more games than any team in the league and had less practice time, and we're a new group and had a lot thrown at us. So I don't want to overreact, but we definitely are aware of our defensive inefficiencies, and we have to control some of those things that we can control. We can't control necessarily adding more defenders right now, but we can control how clean we are with our communication and our schemes. So we've worked on that every off day. We go over it game day, and we just got to keep chipping away and keep improving in those areas.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Steve, it is still early in the season, and you said often that you don't want to overreact or put too much weight on early games, which makes sense. But is there a point where you have in your mind, this is when we need this figured out by? Is it, when nothing matters until the playoffs? When is the point to react?
Well, there will be some reactions along the way, for sure. You've already seen me get upset this year. But having said that, I do think this is one of those years, and this is one of those groups without a training camp. It's going to take us the entire year. So does that mean I expect us to be at this level until the playoffs? No, I expect us to improve, and we'll have some weeks will be better than others, but as long as we're continually trending towards a higher level, that's all you can ask for. So, like I said, a couple days ago, we were going well, and here we are getting outplayed twice in a row in Cleveland, and we got to get back and find that juice to if nothing else, make people feel us and make them pay for what we play, well, how we play out there on the floor. Right now, it just felt like Cleveland never really had to feel us, and so that's a lesson for us, and we'll get another shot at it tomorrow night.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, how does integrating James Harden into the rotation kind of change your rotations? Like, do you have to be more strategic with who you want to put around him versus what you had before?
We're constantly going to search for what is the best rotation. We took, in a sense, Jeff came out of the starting lineup tonight for one reason, in that we're really small in that second unit. So we wanted him there with Reggie on the second unit. So we're constantly trying to search and find that, because James is going to run the second unit. We got to continue to work through this and continual discovery on what are our best rotations and combinations. But we also got to be patient and try to survive in some senses this early season for us. And we got a lot to clean up, but we got a lot to build on too. So while we're frustrated, while we need a reaction, we also don't need to overreact and keep this team together, because that's the one thing that can unsettle us, is if we don't stick together, and if we allow some of these disappointments to magnify
And so the second of two in Cleveland, it's a wrap. Brooklyn was looking for a split. Instead, it is Cleveland with the sweep of this two-game set. Brooklyn without KD, out for a rest day, 113 rather, the final, and clearly they missed him.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you are going to miss a player like Kevin Durant, but give credit to J.B. Bickerstaff and this Cleveland Cavaliers team, because once again, they came out with a sense of purpose and effort, and they did an excellent job in executing the game plan. And it's all the areas that we talk about all the time, right, Nancy? It's the defense. It's the taking care of the basketball. It is rebounding. Points in the paint, 70-44 against this Brooklyn Nets team. But it wasn't just about post players. That is a collective team thing, because it's about perimeter defense. It was about the ease in which the Cavaliers were able to get inside and pick their shots, pick their areas. So a lot of film, once again, for the Nets to take a look at.
Let's go right to that third quarter, which certainly loomed large as the Cavs went on, as we're dissecting, just as you said, Sarah, a 20-5 run that turned a 1-point Nets lead into a 14-point Cavalier lead. 8 turnovers in that frame. That was the turning point, right?
Third quarter, without a doubt. And you said, and you pointed the turnovers and points out turnovers, and that was the one area that we talked about in the first half, that the Nets did such a nice job with taking care of the basketball. But it looked like they came out ready to go. Brooklyn did, and then once again, timeout was called. The Cavaliers come back, and it was just picking apart a lot of the areas that they saw in terms of gaps in the Nets defense, and they continued to put pressure on the Nets, and just not enough offense from the Nets to be able to
really wrapped it up beautifully. I didn't mean to step on you there. The rebounding, the turnovers, right? And defending in the middle as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Nancy, because I think so often we have talked about the front court, or the lack of front court depth. Of course, Jared Allen, we saw on the other side how clear it was in terms of what he was able to do and what the Nets are missing. But again, it's not just about the inside players and the post players. It's about making sure that you're defending on the perimeter. You're not allowing the guards to get where they want to on the floor. So the defense as a whole, you can simply look to points in the paint or look at some of the bigs, but some of that comes with the pick and roll defense. Some of that comes with...
And so the second of two in Cleveland, it's a wrap. Brooklyn was looking for a split. Instead, it is Cleveland with the sweep of this two-game set. Brooklyn without KD, out for a rest day, 113 rather, the final, and clearly they missed him.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know you're going to miss a player like Kevin Durant, but give credit to JB Bickerstaff and this Cleveland Cavaliers team, because once again, they came out with a sense of purpose and effort, and they did an excellent job in executing the game plan. And it's all the areas that we talk about all the time, right, Nancy? It's the defense. It's the taking care of the basketball. It is rebounding. And points in the paint, 70 to 44 against this Brooklyn Nets team. But it wasn't just about post players. That is a collective team thing, because it's about perimeter defense. It was about the ease in which the Cavaliers were able to get inside and pick their shots, pick their areas. So a lot of film, once again, for the Nets to take a look at.
Let's go right to that third quarter, which certainly loomed large as the Cavs went on, as we're